I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
Never forget the elephant in the room. It's actually such a big elephant that I don't think people can even breathe in that room. It's such a huge elephant. It's the number one preventable cause of death in Australia. So when you are taking a precautionary approach, when you're like, no, we just don't know enough, I just tell them, shut up, because that just, I don't know, is killing people right now.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes, a poison.
They're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. Most people that vape never smoked before. Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Most people who vape are current or former smokers. For the addicted adult smoker who switches, there's going to likely be a reduction in risk.
There's a tremendous push to bring about prohibition, to actually prohibit vaping. Whereas the evidence strongly suggests that actually, up to now, the most successful way of people stopping smoking cigarettes is vaping.
When vaping increases, smoking decreases.
That's right.
When vaping is restricted, smoking increases.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
The most disheartening thing is still the anti-choice rhetoric, the desire to enforce this quit or die mentality and refuse to allow individuals to reduce their risk unless they're willing to give up everything.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Well, hello. How's your Friday? I had a pretty good day. But anyway, I was going through the list of guests that we've had in the last 6 months. If you read the post for the show, I listed them. But I think we should mention it here on the show, so that it's actually recorded so people can hear it. But in the last 6 months, we've had Alex Clark and Kristin from CASA. We've had Brent Stafford on the show. We've had David Goerlitz on the show. We had Minton on the show. Amanda Wheeler and Stephen Sapir and Jay Love, all from the industry. They've been on the show. We've had some international influencers. We had the Vaping Bogan on the show. We've had Paul Blamire on the show. Kellie Ann Forbes from VAEPWorld was on the show. Heneage Mitchell from Factasia from Thailand was on the show. Samrat Chowdery, the president of INNCO, was on the show. We've had Yolande Jeffares, Chugga. We had Chugga on the show from New Zealand. Dr. Charles Gardner was on the show just a few weeks ago. Eliana, and I said it right during the show, but Eliana Golberstein-Rubashkyn from New Zealand, the scientist and chemist, came on the show and did actual science on the show. I mean, she actually did an experiment and then had a model of nicotine and showed you on the show how your body metabolizes nicotine and what it does. That was amazing. And then last week we had Aaron Biebert on the show from You Don't Know Nicotine. So, I think we've done a fairly good job of getting guests on the show. We've got some new, really amazing ones lined up. I did a Twitter thing this week, and I put a couple names on as a wish list of people that I would like to get on in the future. Some of those people have already responded, and those are going to be amazing. But tonight we've got a really good guest tonight. So I'm really pleased and happy because my wish and desire is to bring international vape advocacy voices to the American audience, but to the international people that listen to the show as well. Before we get too deep, though, Kevin had a last-minute emergency, so I've had to bring on substitute Kevin again. So let's bring in substitute Kevin, Paul from Australia. There's my friend Paul. Hello, Paul.
Hello, Patrick.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
You gotta try to do you have signs? Because Kevin always holds up signs.
No, I've only got signs of liquids.
You gotta get signs, like join Kasa and Kevin.
All right.
He even holds up the drink sign.
Well, I just say drink. I don't worry about holding up signs.
We're gonna have to work on your substitute Kevin game. But
right,
how you been? What's going on with you? What's going on with you?
I've been quite well. Just been unpacking some stuff that came back into my life after almost 12 months and having a few ding-dong arguments on Twitter with people that don't really understand this technology.
Well,
that's all I've been doing.
That's people all over the world, whether they're Joe Blow on the street. The vast majority of people on the planet really don't understand this technology. And that's really one of the reasons why I've been saying since I saw the show or since I saw the movie, You Don't Know Nicotine. That movie, vapors should watch that movie. But really, the people that need to see that movie are policymakers, are doctors, are just regular people that have friends and family that smoke.
One of the conversations on Twitter
was misinformed.
One of the conversations on Twitter, it's quite funny because then the head of Public Health England comes in and tries to re-educate this person, and this person was then rebutting the head of Public Health England.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
The Australian hearings were enjoyable to watch for sure. And they did get my blood pressure up, but we won't talk about Australia tonight because we really want to talk about the Viking territory. We really want to talk about Scandinavia and specifically Norway. So our guest tonight is a very vocal and passionate vaping advocate, clean nicotine advocate from Norway. And if you're active on Twitter or if you're on social media, you probably have seen him before, but you don't know Bard. So we're going to introduce you to Bard. So I'm hoping that Bard was having some technical issues a while ago, and he popped in and out of the backstage area. So Bard, are you there?
Yep.
There. Okay. Well, you can see Bard. Oh, he's moving. I heard him laugh, so he's there. So, hey, Bard, how are you?
I'm having some trouble with this.
I think he's having some technical difficulties. So, Bard, do you have headphones? Or maybe his internet is not very fast.
I think the Viking internet's not playing fair with us.
They got to go and crank up Yingdrissel.
Okay, that works.
That is a very powerful network. That is, you look at the picture of Yingdrissel. It's got roots and stuff that go everywhere. Oh, so he bounced. He bounced.
Uh-oh.
So hopefully Bard can because he was coming in strong when we first got him in backstage and pre-show. So let's see.
He'll reappear.
I think I need to boot him and have him come up. I think we're better. Did you find a strong spot in your place, Bard? Oh. Internet issues in Norway. There we go.
So it's Norway, huh?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You hear me now?
I think we're good. I think we're perfect now. So Bard, how are you? How are you dealing with the COVID pandemic?
How am I dealing with the what you say?
With the coronavirus pandemic. How are you enjoying life?
That.
That.
Well, I'm getting pretty tired. Yeah, that. I'm getting tired of the coronavirus, actually, but I've been one step ahead for a long time. So, I'm where I'm thinking, just get on with it.
So did Norway have shutdowns? Did they make everybody stay at home?
Say what?
I said, did Norway?
What was that?
Did they have shutdowns over there? Did they make everybody stay at home?
Yeah, we did. Actually, we were one of the early ones to schools, middle schools and preschools pretty early, which actually helped a lot. So and then for some reason we opened our borders again, and so that wasn't too smart. Now we're kind of dealing with the red zones again.
Yeah. So how long have you been vaping?
I started vaping. I think I started vaping in 2014.
2014, yeah. And what is the environment like there for vaping in Norway?
A lot of changes since in only the 6 years that I've been vaping. Because when I started, there were very few shops. I think there were 1 or 2 internet shops over here. There were Norwegian internet shops, and I know that some of the shops over here today, they have like in 2017 they might have gone a little bit in plus, but in 2019 and so forth, you see some shops earning about 18 million Norwegian crowns a year all of a sudden. So it's been like an explosion when it comes to start kits and everything the last 4 years. So and you also see it in the communities on Facebook how big they've grown,
Yeah.
when it comes to vapors.
So you've had a boom then. But how does the government treat vaping over there?
They just sit tight on the fence and watch how everything, how the US are dealing with it, how the Public Health England is coming up with stuff. But so far, we are being our vape laws are like connected to the tobacco law of 1996 or 98, I think, here in Norway still. So yeah, nothing is happening. They're talking about TPD3 now. It'll probably come, but still, Norway is a nation where it must seem like we're okay about this vaping stuff, but when politically, it's really backward and upside down, like everywhere else. I think Aaron Biebert also said that Norway, for some reason, was the strictest country with the strictest laws that he had seen. You can account. You can buy start kits over pods. You can buy tanks. You can buy anything except for nicotine. So I mean, all the converters, all the people that I've have had smoking, like the people that are 60 years or 70 years even, they have to actually sit at home and mix 100 milligrams of nicotine themselves, because of the Norwegian laws. So,
So your laws are, your laws are like Australia's then, where, zero nicotine and you have to nick it up yourself. Except in Australia, you have to have a prescription to possess the nicotine.
Yeah, same here. You can make possess nicotine for 3 months.
So I did see on your Facebook that there's a picture of you and Aaron at a premiere for A Billion Lives. Where was that at?
That's correct. You disappeared a bit there. Was that in?
Oh no, I was I said
where 2016.
Where at what premiere were you at?
When A Billion Lives came.
Was that in Norway?
Yeah, that's kind of funny because the Norwegian the Norwegian Steam Company, the Norwegian Vape Association, assisted the only association in Norway in 2016. Had arranged for the carpet and everything for A Billion Lives and Aaron Biebert, but they did not have anybody to interview David Goerlitz and the Attention Era crew or Aaron Biebert. So when I got there, I was really hyped, and then somebody tapped my shoulder and asked if I want to interview Aaron Biebert and Carl Lund, the Norwegian the Norwegian FDA dude. And so I said yes. I think I had 20 minutes to go over the question and then head on to the room. So that was really cool. I liked it. Got to know David Goerlitz as well. He huge personality. He was over the room. I mean, the interview went by itself. All I had to do was just open my mouth, and they were just talking away. So that was cool.
Yeah, no. David does not have a big personality. He's very quiet. He's kind of an introvert. He's kind of an introvert. He doesn't let you know what his opinions are at all. No, we love David here on the show. He's been on the show a couple times. We actually probably should get him back on again. I hear he wasn't feeling good again for a while, and we love Paul, and we love David too.
How can you not love Paul, huh?
Paul's a dickhead. And he's muted himself, so I can't even hear him laughing.
Yeah, I muted myself. For a few reasons. I've got one question for you, Bard. The big Facebook group that you're part of, A Billion Vapers. How did that all come about, and what's your part in it?
How did what come about, you say?
A Billion Vapers. The Facebook group, the big Facebook group that you're part of. How did that come about, and what's your role in it?
The group, man?
Yeah.
You mean the Facebook group?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. Sorry. At the time, before a year or something before the interview with Aaron Biebert, 2016, I started my own stuff. I started posting a lot of stuff on on several in Facebook groups, and especially I had these like funny attacks against the FDA and the CDC, and I was just like making memes or editing photos with short messages, but like just that sort of woke you up. I guess I created some reactions around as well, you know, both negative and positive. And before when we knew that 1 billion lives were coming out with the film, I had to ask Aaron Biebert if we could actually nick Nick's name and call a group of vapors. And I told him that I would back him along the way as far as, you know, spreading the news about the movie, the film. And we started the group, and it went really fast from 0 to at least a couple of listeners. So we started posting, and it just sort of kept going. And also now the other group that I'm in, the Warrior Vapers Worldwide, that's a giveaway group as well. So there's like more people in it. But basically, I just had fun making posts, you know, targeting all the bullshit from the media and all the lies. You know, take like sentences out of reports or something and use it as a heading and make something funny out of it. I guess people kind of noticed it. I didn't think they would.
It's actually known worldwide now. There's people from all over the world in that group, which is a really good thing. There's a lot of really good information being put through there. A lot of good studies, a lot of good interviews. Everything that we do here, it's always posted in there, but also a lot of the advocates from around the world have also now found a platform within Facebook that they can post the information that they get their hands on, which is a good thing. I like the main group, not the giveaway group, simply because the information that's actually being put through, it's smart. It's not silly. There's a lot of our friends in there from all over the world. It's great. Thank you for putting it together, by the way. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good content on here. I always look at this group and Bill's Vape Distortion group for news. If there's stuff that I haven't seen before I post it, I always check and see that somebody else has already gotten it. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there. I mean, obviously, here in the United States, the new sneaky tactic that the House of Representatives is doing to push through this vape mail ban bill. And by the way, if you aren't aware and you're listening to the show or watching the show, you need to go to CASA and participate in the call to action, because they're trying to sneak the language for the vape mail ban into omnibus funding bill, which we know if it's a pro-vaping bit of legislation, will get negotiated out. But if it's an anti-vaping bit of legislation, they'll continue. They'll keep it in there. So we need to be vigilant, because you know, if you want to continue to get your vape products in the mail, you need to act. Otherwise, you'll be stuck using DHL or FedEx or private couriers instead of being able to use the U.S. mail, and that obviously is more expensive. Are you talking about this, Paul? Are you showing that?
No, Jen Winstead was asking, what's the little device I'm using? I've got 3 of them on my desk.
I only have 2, but look.
Yeah, I've got 3. They're really good. I love them.
I do have to say, since Jen is in the room, I'm just gonna hold this bottle of stuff up for Jen. This is very simple packaging for my new recipe. It's just simply called the cigar. And I will say that it is perfect. It is perfect. Jennifer's online mixing show. She does a couple DIY shows, I think, on the YouTubes. She's a DIY queen, but she's
a bit more than that.
Well, they call her the e-juice fairy. She says, Jen, I had to let this steep for 4 weeks before I even tried it. So I can't send you a bottle because I only made enough to test, and it had to sit for 4 whole weeks before I could try it. But back to Bard, because Bard, the reason we're doing this show is Bard. So, Bard, did you see the new movie? Did you see You Don't Know Nicotine Yet?
Yeah, I did.
And what did you think about that? What did you think about the film?
I liked it. I liked it. I thought some people will be a bit shocked and surprised, but I think it made a thorough investigation, if we could say so.
Yeah, I mean, we had Aaron on the show last week, and he told us then that they had about 400 hours of footage. And to distill 400 hours of footage down to 90 minutes, 95 minutes, there's still a lot of stuff that he could probably make a second film with the other 400 hours of footage. And he said that they're going to be adding more content to the streaming service that it's on, IBEX, as like extras that you can watch some of the bits that didn't get included in the film. So I think that there's going to be, I'm really wanting to promote that format so that more people have the opportunity to see that film, because like I said, it's great that vapors see it. And I don't even think a lot of vapors have seen it yet, but because everybody wants everything for free, which is disappointing because we need to promote these all independent filmmakers and all independent artists. But we need to push the fact that this needs to be live and healthy so that we can push politicians and legislatures and policy analysts and the people that make decisions need to see that film, because when the vast majority of people in America believe that vaping is more harmful than smoking, that nicotine causes cancer, they need to see that film. We have doctors in the United States that believe, like 80% of the doctors in the United States believe that nicotine causes cancer, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's insane.
So, yeah, we have science. We have, a couple billion anecdotal stories. I'm exaggerating. There's not a couple billion vapors, but we have millions of people that use these products. We have all of their stories, and we're all considered anecdotes. It doesn't matter that we have a couple million anecdotal stories. They still consider that to be anecdotal. And the definition of anecdotal is infinite, it's small, is you're not important. That's just anecdotal. And I don't want people to tell me that my personal story about vaping is anecdotal, that my ability to quit smoking is anecdotal, is the I don't know, 40 or 50 million people in the world that use these products, that our stories are all anecdotal. That's bullshit.
What about over your way, Bard? Is that the same with the doctors? Are the doctors the same in your neck of the woods?
You know what? The younger I haven't spoken to that many yet, but I've spoken to some doctors, and the younger doctors, the doctors in their 30s now, they totally accept this. The doctors going 45, 50 plus, they are more, skeptical and stuff. And when, like you said, politicians should really see this new movie. This was the same. We had the same problem in Northern 2016 when A Billion Lives came. We had arranged so that some politicians could come. Our health minister Bent Høie, amongst others, and no one showed up to the premiere. No one from the politicians that we asked. Only a couple of journals and stuff. This is the problem. I've written letters to our health minister. I've even written emails to our prime minister. The only thing you get from that office is a pre-made message about how busy they are these days, and that's how it's been since 2014. But our health minister, he's actually answered a couple times, but he keeps saying that every goddamn time that we know too little about vaping, despite the fact that I've sent him a lot of studies. I've sent him stuff from Public Health England, but still, I don't think he reads this stuff, because they keep saying we know too little, when in fact, if you look at the right information, we don't know too little to regulate this. That's bullshit.
Well, that's fair. That's very fair, but it's interesting that you say that the younger doctors are actually taking this on board, and it's the older doctors. Yeah. And this is a theory. That the older doctors that are still getting kickbacks from the pharma side of things for their holidays and everything else, whether or not they're still in that mindset. And that's becoming a more apparent type stream that I'm seeing all over the world. It's interesting. It's a very interesting topic. But the older doctors, why can't we swing them back to this world? What do we have to do?
Well, I mean, and to be perfectly clear, it may not be that the doctors are corrupt or anything. It just could be the simple ideological thing. It looks like smoking, so it must be as bad as smoking.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to believe that they're evil and corrupt. I think we can chalk that up to they're just old and they're set in their ways. And if it looks like smoking, it must be just like smoking.
Okay. Point taken.
So Bard, you've been vaping since 2014, you said. So you've been around long enough to see a lot of advancement or changes in vaping. And you said that vaping has had sort of a boom in Norway since 2016 or 2017. Do you see a lot of people in Norway just walking down the street vaping? Well, now we can't hear him at all. Hold it. Try talking again, Bard.
Are you there?
Yeah,
Yep.
I can hear you now.
Yeah. I think people over here, first of all, I think Norwegians, they like to spend money when they like. The people that are vaping, they are buying a lot of they're buying a lot of gear, you know. But when I started converting, I think that's how the Norwegian groups on Facebook got to know my name, because I had the tendency to bring a lot of start kits out. It would be, you know, out in the shops or out in the rain, and I'd just like seek out smokers standing outside of the store smoking, and I'd stop and talk to them. And most time I'd end up giving a free start kit with some juice so they could test it. And then I wrote down their names and the phone numbers so I could give them a follow-up, because of all the mixing of the nicotine and all that stuff that comes with it over here. And that's my point. You know, I had this list of a lot of people that I was following up. Even my wife, tired of people coming to the door here because, you know, it looked like I was dealing marijuana or something. People come and, for weight care, you know. So
yeah,
I think that,
I mean, it sucks that you feel like you have to. It's a clandestine thing, you know. That it feels in some places, you know. It's like if you approach an older person and tell them, "Hey, you can use this, but you have to keep the active ingredient of this at home in your refrigerator, and you can go and buy this over here." But you actually have to take it home and add stuff to it. A lot of older people think that seems kind of illicit, that it seems kind of shady. And they're like, well, I can go and buy cigarettes and I don't have to do anything for that. That's very easy.
Exactly.
So do they have snus in Norway?
Yeah. We have snus. There's a lot of snus users in Norway. I've even converted a couple snus users to vape.
Well, I mean, I have some snus here in America that's very uncommon to be able to even find them in a convenience store here. And there's only one or two brands that are available here. But, you know, they work. You know, I can't throw shade on snus because I know people that use them. I've used them when I couldn't vape, and they work. They keep you off of the cigarettes. So, you know, I'm not going to be critical of people that use them because you never know. I might have to use them, but being able to quit smoking is the number one goal. That's what we do is try to help people not smoke. I see, Paul. Are you like logged in to all of the distributions right now? I see you commenting in Facebook and on YouTube.
I can go anywhere. I got two monitors all set up properly for a change.
But yeah, you know, we're super high tech here because we do this all the time. Poor Bart is using his phone.
Yeah. Next time I'm not going to be using the phone.
Well, it's all right. I mean, this is not about, like I said. Yeah, it is usually, like, if this was a Zoom room, it would probably be so much easier for you. But I don't like Zoom. I'm boycotting Zoom. You know, I should have bought Zoom stock like a year ago because they have gone through the roof during this pandemic. I mean, they went from being a little tiny company to being a huge company. Yeah, we used Zoom for a long time, and then I found this other platform, and the show looks prettier. It allows me to do things that make the show look prettier, so that's why we use this. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to help smokers. What is the percentage? What is the number of smokers in Norway now? Is there a lot of people?
The number of smokers?
Yeah, how many people smoke in Norway?
In Norway?
Yeah.
No, the number of smokers has gone down actually, and the number of news users and vape users has gone up, but last year the number of smokers have nevertheless gone down. I think a lot of people, more people over here than probably in the States, are dual users of the snus and vape. Because when you are at a meeting at work, or you're taking a plane trip inland or something like that, it's nice to have to use snus. But personally, I really need the vape because I like the feeling. I like the feeling to the drug, to have something down my lungs and everything. So I'm back to the vape really fast when I can. But I understand people use snus, and there are a lot of people in the way that do. But I think that with the numbers of vapers has turned up last years, we should really be able to influence more than just vape communities or smoke communities on Facebook. So I'm looking forward to some change ahead, and I think that we are all getting. Yeah,
I think we need to have our Arab Spring moment. We need an Arab Spring moment for vape advocacy on social media. I mean, people discount the importance of social media because there's so many people that are just not tuned in. But I mean, if you think about it, when the Arab Spring happened, that entire thing was done on social media. We just need that. We have a very powerful Twitter force for vaping. We have a bunch of different, very active Facebook people, but we just haven't had our moment yet.
That's true.
We just need a catalyst.
If we don't get our points across, unless we get our points across soon, we should all just start to do an activism instead. Like David Goerlitz said once.
Yeah, we've actually been flying the pirate flag for a little while here on the show, and we let the people in suit and ties do the advocacy, and we sort of do the in-your-face activism here. So that's why we're more aggressive. We had Aaron on the show last week, and Aaron said that sometimes he couldn't really share our Twitter stuff because our Twitter stuff is a little bit more aggressive than what because he's trying to be more respectable and not try to he thinks that if we get people angry, they're never going to hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I get what he's saying. We need the quiet, reflective people on Twitter, but we also need the aggressive, loud voices on Twitter. We need Demetrius getting blocked by the Surgeon General. We need me making the Surgeon General publicly, Twitter whine on Twitter about how mean we are to him. We need both. And I'm not the person that they want to come and talk to about a reasonable conversation because I'm going to yell. I'm going to be more aggressive. And if you look on Twitter, you'll see, I say very rude things to Stanton Glantz. I say rude things to what's that guy's name? Tahir.
Turk.
Tahir Turk. Yeah, I say very rude things to that guy because he says some of the most stupid. This is a doctor of public health. This is a guy that should be knowledgeable about the human body and about anatomy and physiology and all these things. And he says some of the most asinine things on Twitter. We have Stanton Glands on Twitter saying that people are better off smoking than vaping. And you don't think I'm going to respond to that?
And then we have Turk coming out stating that the only plant that contains nicotine is the tobacco plant, and we just went, seriously? Yeah. What the hell did they teach you?
Yeah,
you need a refund.
Yeah, somebody tweeted at him that nicotine was also in tomatoes and other things, and he said that's a lie. The only plant that has nicotine is tobacco, and this is a doctor.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing that that these doctors that I have advanced degrees as well, but that these doctors have to be told basic stuff.
But yeah, okay, Hamish. Like Henning, yeah, all right, yeah. Tai is an idiot. We know this, right? There's a few people there on Twitter and a few of the private groups that we're in, right? A few of the private chat groups, and some of the rubbish that we've been finding over the past couple of weeks. And we're waiting on a big report here in Australia. It gets handed down, and this is the Standing Committee on like THR, which they've never said before here. That gets handed down on the 18th. So trust me, after the 18th, Twitter's just going to be like a war zone. We're just going to drag everyone through the mud. It's going to be quite funny to watch. What the hell? Jeez, we got names coming everywhere. What's going on here?
These are all the people. Well, this is not a complete list, but this is a fairly good list. All of these people you should be following on Twitter. Into vaping. These are all the Twitter addresses of people that you should be paying attention to. This is not, like I said, not a complete list. Are you following this thread, Paul?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Somebody, Dr. Charles Gardner started a list.
It's
on a tweet,
massive.
like, just naming people. And then other people started adding people.
Yeah, it's huge.
And I mean, if you're not going down this list on Twitter, you're missing out, because there is a lot of people on here that just need to be followed. You need to be sharing. You need to be retweeting these people. Because there's a lot of kick-ass people. I'm copying it into the stream just so that people that are on Facebook can follow them on Twitter. Obviously, my name is on there somewhere, and I think Paul is in there somewhere. And a lot of the people that have been on this show are on that list. But if you're not following each and every one of these people, you're missing out. You're missing out. Like Norbert Zillatron. I mean, that guy is amazing. He's going to be on a future show. We got Clive Bates lined up. We're going to have to do a special day and a special time for Clive, because Clive lives in Nigeria. And the time delay for him, it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I made poor Bard wake up in the middle of the night to come and join the show tonight. But I don't think Clive Bates would ever agree to that. So we're going to have to reschedule the show just for him.
Yeah, but
that's all right. Fair. We did a special show for Charles too. We did him on a Tuesday. So yeah, we're going to do that because, I think a lot of us have never actually seen Clive Bates in real life.
I have.
Well, I know. I said some.
I've
I've never actually been in
a
the
great
room
guy.
with him, but I've seen him. I've seen him on video. But just to have him come in here and talk about vape advocacy and policy and
Yeah.
protecting vaping. I mean, and sure, he lives in, he's a British guy, but he lives in Africa, so he can tell us about what's going on in Africa too. So we're bringing all these international people onto the show so that people can understand. And I've said it before, vapor stories don't know borders. Bard could probably tell me a quit story that sounds exactly like my quit story or Paul's quit story. And I think a lot of the Americans, we get these blinders on, like, this is like the center of the universe. Only America matters. And you got to realize that all these vapors that vape all over the world, they're our brothers and sisters. All those people that are still smoking all over the world, those are our future brothers and sisters. And we need to realize that every person in the world is a prospective family member for us. They could be vape fam. I don't ever like to use that vape fam thing, but they could be us. And we need to realize that this is an international war that we're fighting. This is like World War III. We're fighting all over the world. And there are fighters, soldiers, warriors fighting to protect choice to this product, choice and access to these products all over the world. And if you think you've got it bad here in the States, I can probably find 5 or 6 other countries right off the top of my head that got it way worse than we do. And we've got it bad, don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
if you mention Singapore or Thailand or Malaysia or Indonesia,
no,
those places
Indonesia's changing.
Right. But they haven't changed yet. They're, Philippines for a while looked like it was going to be ultra dangerous for us. And, at the last minute, their legislative body kicked in and got in front of the president and stopped the really craziness.
Yeah.
But Singapore, it's illegal.
Happened in New
What?
But I see they turned around in New Zealand, right? I mean, what you just said is that it's the most important thing, I think, overall. When I put my eyes further away than Norway, and in these Facebook groups and stuff a couple of years ago, that was my exact thought as well. That we need to share information internationally. We need to share studies. We need to share everything we can that is not that is other than scaremongering, and we need to get us all on net, on the same page internationally, because everything that happens in the States will affect the TPD over here. Things that happen in the TPD may affect what happens there in the States and so on. But the most important is us, the people, because the more we are and the more on the same page we are, these won't be able to get away with their bullshit. So I think that that's the most important thing. We have to stand together, seriously.
India was the worst of the worst.
I
woke up one morning and $100,000 worth of my business was gone instantly. I thought, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Just, you own a business, you close your business at the end of the day, you go home, and you come back the next day, and there's a padlock on your front door with a notice from the government saying your business is now illegal.
It was like, what? Seriously, it was, what the fuck just happened? I got an email, and then I was woken up by someone in the US calling me, and this just happened. I said, what just happened? Read your email, please. I read it, and I went, are you fucking kidding me? Everything just went bam. instantaneous. Like Samrat, when Samrat was on, and he was going into it, and I'm there scratching my head. How the hell does one government have so much power to just bang overnight there was no consultation whatsoever? It was just like, whoosh, thanks, here's the chopping block. Thanks for coming. That was bullshit.
Your business is closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sad. It's scary. I mean, obviously here in the States, we have FDA and we have PMTAs to deal with. We have all this stuff. At least there's a possibility that there will be a product on the shelf a year and a half, 2 years from now. There's a possibility. In other countries, there's no possibility. Thailand, it's illegal. They have a flourishing black market there. So yeah, I mean, and yes, Hamish brings up the point that 31% of ownership in the tobacco industry in India is owned by the government. Yes. China, it's like 90% or 100% of the tobacco industry in China is owned by the Chinese government. So yes, of course, vaping is not, they're not vape friendly in China. But it's sad to me. But from what I understand from my Eastern Europe people, that Russia is a flourishing market. That people vape in Russia with no problems. I don't know if some oligarch in Russia that's a friend with Putin owns the vape industry in Russia, but it seems to me like that country would be the one to put their boot on the throat of the people and say you can't do that, and they're letting people do it. People there don't seem to be having any issues. I've never seen an anti-vaping article from Russia.
No, liquid nicotine in Russia, the two top products is tobacco products, and then liquid nicotine is the second biggest product in that space. I speak to my friends in Poland, in Germany, in Switzerland, and in one other country that all manufacture nicotine. And they're saying now that Russia could be the next front because they're getting sick and tired of combustibles, and they're finding like Russian families that have been smoking for years in the house, they switch to vaping, and then you start seeing these stories coming out that the whole family switched to vaping. Now they can vape inside in the middle of minus 20, minus 30. They don't have to go outside for a cigarette. Sure, I can understand all of this, but it's also safer. It's also healthier. But again, we can't make that statement here in Australia. But, we've got the same problems as you got over there, but, we have to mix our liquids. But there's one thing I want to ask you. How do you think the Scheer report is going to affect legislation where you are right now for TPD 3.0?
How the TPD?
How the Scheer report is going to affect
TPD is going to affect
what? Sorry?
Yeah, you mean how TP will affect Norway?
Yeah, the Scheer report, will that affect Norway and TPD 3.0?
Wow. It's really a bad sound, so I'm not sure if I caught you there. But We will only have 2 milliliter huge tanks. We will only have 20 milliliter MD nicotine, I think, to mix out with this. I think the worst besides the nicotine is actually the tank size. I'm sitting here with a 5 milliliter tank now, and it's illegal.
Is it illegal to possess it, or just illegal to purchase it, or to sell it?
It's both. To sell it.
Yeah, but if you have one, are you going to get arrested for it? Or are you going to get cited for it?
No, they've never done that before. The smallest amount you can get today is 1,500 crowns. So
wow.
Divide that by what? 8?
So
nobody has had fines, even though they say you can.
What's the average price of a device where you're at right now?
Okay, what, the device?
Yeah.
What kind of device I'm using right
now? No. What is the actual cost? No. What is the actual cost of a device?
What's the cost? Yeah. The word cost just disappeared. Okay. Usually they're around 800, like a mod, like a good mod, 150 watt mod with a tank and coils. You are talking almost 1,000 crowns, I think.
Can you do some conversions?
You get a start kit.
Patrick, I want to know what it's.
Say what?
So 800 crowns would be about $90.
Wow.
$90, yeah.
That's not cheap.
No,
right.
well, yeah. I mean, and do you get batteries with that?
It's not cheap. No.
Wow.
That's about twice what a starter kit would cost,
I guess, in shops. Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah. I think a start kit costs 200-300 crowns.
Okay,
that's still about $34.
But the juice, the juice is even worse. I think you have 50 millimeters for about 50 crowns. So you have like 100 milliliters would cost you 250 crowns. We only have one. We have one. Actually, I want to say that we have one company in Norway that I work closely with for 6 years now. It's called Skausaft, and the Norwegian word for that means forest juice. So this guy called Forest Juice, he started all the way right before 2014, and he has been selling up until only a couple of months ago. He's been selling juice from his store and his internet store in Norway with nicotine in it. He's been careful about where he gets his nicotine from, and he's doing this openly. The Norwegian government can actually monitor him and see. We thought he would get shut down like many times up until now. He hasn't gotten shut down yet, but he had a notice a couple of months ago that he had to quit selling nicotine, or else they would actually shut him down. So right now he has all his lines of juices are now made to what you call one shots and premixes and stuff like that. So now you have to add your own nicotine. But he did this in his company in the hopes that government would see how much easier this was for customers, right? So then last summer, right when the corona came, we had this idea. There's a new alliance in Norway called the Nicotine Alliance, and I started working closely with them. And in Norway, all the vape shops started trying something we called nicotine hotels. We said that we could keep the customers. So, you know, the customer buys 100 milligrams of nicotine, but you store it in your shop. So when every time you come to your shop and buy juice, they will add nicotine for you, right? This was to help older people, new people, and everybody, and it was working just fine until August this year, when the government all of a sudden sent agents out to all the shops, and if found nicotine hotels, they would close the shops. So within just like 3 days, all the shops just quit doing it, which is really silly, you know. This was safe. This was safe for people, and it was a safe way to distribute this to everybody, actually. And then, but now we're back to square one now, mixing ourselves, helping older people not spill and get killed. You know, it's stupid.
So, what does a pack of cigarettes cost in Norway?
What are the?
How much does a pack of cigarettes cost?
Oh, a pack of cigarettes, 20 cigarettes. Oh shit, I quit so long ago. I think a pack of cigarettes is about 130 now. It was about 80 crowns for a pack of 20 cigarettes in 2014 when I quit, and now it's about 130.
So that's about 14,
and it's about
almost $15
rolling tobacco. Yeah, yeah. And you know what? The funniest thing is last week we spoke again to government officials about, you know, light regulations and everything, because I was on 3rd, 4th, I was at the E-Summit, you know, in England. I was, you know, over the net, and we were actually thinking that we would get this through again, you know, because of the safetyness of everything. But you know, like I said earlier, the Norwegian government is just like, you know, sitting on a fence, literally. Nothing is happening. It's really bad.
They're waiting to see what's going to happen in other places before they decide what they're going to do. Sounds like.
Yeah, it sort of feels like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just looking to see, you know, about 2 years ago, well, maybe closer to 3 now, the Surgeon General, or not Surgeon General, the head of the FDA at the time, Scott Gottlieb, mentioned a prescription pathway or a medical pathway for vaping products. And then here we see that Australia, because, you know, they must have been, they've actually quoted Scott Gottlieb a couple times in their legislative sessions, you know, using Scott Gottlieb's words, talking about the American youth vaping pandemic or epidemic, and as a justification for passing legislation in Australia. So maybe that's what Norway's doing, is they're waiting to see what somebody else does before they make the move. Hopefully they're eyeing the UK and they're not eyeing us or Australia now. Seems like when Aaron Biebert took 1 Billion Lives to New Zealand, that at least one smart person in politics saw that film and decided that, hey, they would give this vaping thing a try in New Zealand, because that really opened up the market for business in Australia and New Zealand. It's just getting the right eyes on the information could make a big difference everywhere. But I hope that Norway doesn't eyeball us for the model legislation for them to pass over there.
Please don't look at Australia.
The funny, no.
Australia wouldn't
The
be
funny
awful
thing is,
because it's the
last
same
week,
as
the Norwegian government. Yeah, the funny thing is though, last week the Norwegian government actually put down the price on alcohol. So
yes.
Run and buy.
And Bill Tarling just sent me a message that Norway is bankrolling modernization of tobacco fields in Malawi. It says here the government of Norway and the International Labor Organization on Tuesday signed a partnership agreement for a new development corporation project to improve working conditions and access to rights in Malawi's tobacco sector. So they're investing a lot of money in tobacco in foreign countries.
Yeah.
Malawi's in Africa, by the way, for those of you that don't know where Malawi is.
Okay, but here's a question. Are they investing in growing tobacco for smoking, or are they investing in tobacco for extraction, for pharmaceutical models?
It just says the tobacco sector in this article. So it could be either or both. So it says 60% of Malawi's exports and approximately 10% of the country's GDP is tobacco. So yeah, but apparently they have awful working conditions, and Norway is investing a lot of money to help improve about $2 million to improve working conditions in Malawi's tobacco sector.
Sapir.
So yeah, apparently there's a lot of modern slavery, child labor, forced labor, and human trafficking in Malawi.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking here. It says, I'm looking at a list of cancers by country. Australia is number 1. And New Zealand is number 2.
Yep. Doesn't surprise me at all.
Wow.
Ireland, Hungary, and then the US. So we're number 6 or number 5. And Norway is down at number 9. So yeah, it's kind of surprising Australia is number 1 in cancers.
No, it's not surprising at all, because our lifestyle here in Australia is sun, more sun, drinking, smoking, sun, more sun, drinking, smoking, more sun. Yeah, not a problem. Yeah,
well,
we've been on top of the list for a while.
I don't think Norway has that problem, though, because it's not very sunny there.
That doesn't actually matter, because even if it's cloudy.
Yeah, I was just making Norway being a rainy, hazy country, which is probably not true, but that's the stereotype that we have of Norway. Because all the Vikings are pale.
We're born with fleece on our feet. Did you know that? Yeah.
All the Vikings are pale.
There's out the streets, and we're born with skis on our feet.
Yeah. It's like I see all these. I see a lot of vapors using Viking iconography, imagery. A lot of Americans using Viking images to represent them. The fight, the spirit of Vikings in the United States, and I'm like, well, I'm going to bring a real Viking guy on the show to talk about vaping. There's actually a vaping advocate guy. It's called the Viking Vapor, and he's not he's not from Norway or Sweden or. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad. We're gonna have to get you on again when we can get you on a laptop with better sound in the future at some point.
Yeah.
But what time is it there right now?
It's It's 5:17 actually in the morning.
So you woke up about 4 a.m. to come and talk to us on the show. That was mean of me. I should have adjusted the time of the show so that you could have come on before you went to sleep. But
yeah, I'll be using my laptop next time and giving myself a bit more time before the show so I can fix the sound issues and just moved to a new house. So our internet is new, probably something to well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna sit here and shoot the breeze for a little bit, but I don't want to keep you up any longer than you have to be up. We're probably just gonna talk about Twitter hijinks, but you don't have to leave. But I do want people to see what we do on Twitter. I'm gonna highlight a couple of my tweets and a couple of Paul's tweets just to show. So one of the things I talked about earlier on the show was reaching out to other advocates that I would love to have on the show. Obviously, everybody knows Clive, and if you've been paying attention to the Australia hearings, you know who Holly Hughes is. She's the chairperson of the Tobacco Harm Reduction Committee, and she's a vapor. And if you've seen You Don't Know Nicotine, or if you've watched this show for a couple years, we've talked about Dr. Paul Newhouse frequently on the show, but he's a big part of You Don't Know Nicotine. I would love to get him on the show to talk about nicotine. And then I think that everybody that's on Twitter should be following Dr. Mark Tyndall. I'd love to get him on the show. He is in Canada, and he has a harm reduction program called My Safe Project, which talks about safe supply, needle exchanges, and other things. And to be completely clear, harm reduction is harm reduction. And we should be talking to these advocates that are not vaping advocates, they're harm reduction advocates, because he's actually been quite vocal about vaping on Twitter. So this is one of his tweets the other day. He says, "It's sad and irrational. People have the right to vape nicotine instead of smoking cigarettes and to use the flavors that they choose. Prohibition never works. There will be more flavors, more toxicity, and more people dying from smoking, and likely more youth vaping. Vaping saves lives." So this is a guy in Canada that has nothing to do with vaping. He is a harm reduction advocate. We need their voices. We need their allegiance. We need to have them on our side, and we need to support those things. I mean, a lot of people that are in vaping, there are a lot of people in vaping that are in recovery. There are a lot of people that are in recovery that vape. But for some reason, at least here in America, we sort of have this, we talk about these words that we use all the time to draw a line between us and other people. And that means, addicts is one of those words. Oh, he's an addict. That word in itself carries negative connotations. We need to understand that these are humans. And the reason we smoke, we talked about this. The only way that you can get mice to self-inject or rats to self-inject nicotine is to stress them out, is to make them so worried, so agitated that they will self-administer nicotine. Many people use nicotine as a stress relief. Many people use drugs as a stress relief. It's an indication that there's something wrong with them or with their life, and that they need to rely on a substance to make them feel better. So there's no reason for us to be negative about people that use drugs. We need to treat them like we would anyone else that has a sickness, that has a problem, that has stress in their life. So yeah, these harm reduction advocates that are from other fields that have been supportive of vaping, like Dr. Ethan Nadelman, we need him. We need his voice. He's done several speeches about vaping and being supportive of vaping, but that's not his area. He's drug policy. He's a harm reduction advocate. So those are the types of people that I want to bring to you guys, that I want to bring their voices into our dialogue.
Alex Wodak as well from Australia.
Oh, yeah.
100%. He needs to come and sit down for a chat with you, and I think Kevin would get a kick out of that, because Kevin wouldn't be holding up signs. He'd no drink signs, at least, with Alex, because I've met Alex on a few occasions here in Australia. The first time I really got to speak to Alex was when I actually got to have dinner with Dr. Alex Wodak, Dr. Colin Mendelsohn, Clive Bates, and my way Glover. That dinner was that dinner that I was invited to was groundbreaking for me. That changed my whole perception of what I need to do and how to do it. Bottom line.
Yeah. I mean,
simple as that.
I'm sure that I know people that could get me in touch with Alex. Alex, obviously that hearing where he talked about fun, that guy, that one congressman in Australia kept asking about whether or not you had ever received financial support from or accepted money from tobacco companies. And he's like, well, look, I worked in the public health system in England, and some of their money comes from tobacco companies, from tobacco taxes. And he said, I came here to Sydney, and I worked in hospital here in Sydney for 15 years or whatever, and that's a government funded agency, and what is it, the number three income earner for the Australian government is tobacco taxes. So yeah, I guess one of my paychecks, from the hospital, there probably was some tobacco money in there. But then he said, but you working for the government, you would have to also, acknowledge that a good percentage of your paycheck comes from tobacco tax money. And that was a mic drop moment. Like, he said it without any, with straight face, like with no, like his expression was just as normal as ever. He was not getting angry. He didn't add tone. He was like, look, this is the fact. I worked for the hospital. The hospital got their funding from the government, and the government gets some of their funding from tobacco companies, from their tobacco taxes. So I would say, yes, I'd have to acknowledge that some of the money that I got paid must have come from tobacco tax money.
Yeah, but
so
that
did your paycheck.
Yeah, I know, but that destroyed that minister, and he just went.
Yeah, I mean, his expression after that was, okay, yeah, I just got burned. I didn't even see that coming, and I got burned. I'm on fire. Somebody put me out. Like, help me. So yeah,
But
we definitely got to get Alex on. But he's one of those respectable people. He's one of those respectable people that we would have to be very respectable when we had him on. Like when Dr. Glover was on, and we were very respectable young men. We didn't say any foul words. We were on our best behavior until she dropped a cuss word.
Yep.
Until she cussed.
Yep.
At least when we had Eliana on, Eliana said a couple curse words to me in the chat even before the show started.
Yeah.
So, we were respectable when she was on, but we were also comfortable.
I actually need to get that on a t-shirt. Bot shit. # bot shit. When she dropped that, the whole chat, right? All of us that were listening to that show, we're all in tears laughing. And you and fucking Kevin, it was hilarious. The pair of you just went,
"Oh my God,
Kevin,
we could have been cussing the whole time."
Yep.
See,
Same
Bard
as
got headphones now, and I bet you $10 Bard's audio is perfect from now on.
Yeah, it is. Because he was on Bluetooth. It was on Bluetooth and it was pulling bandwidth.
Yeah.
Simple.
So yeah, I think that was the only problem, Bard, was that the headphones were causing.
Might have been.
Yeah, because you sound perfect.
It is.
I think you guys are right. Yeah, I think you guys are right, actually.
No, it is because Bluetooth pulls bandwidth.
Yeah.
No one will tell you, but it actually does.
Well, I would imagine, yes. So, Kevin, replacement Kevin. Let's look at some of your Twitter hijinks. Let's
I've been causing mischief.
Let's look at some of your Twitter hijinks here. Let's see.
I've been slaying dragons recently on Twitter. I have to.
No. I'm gonna look. I'm not looking at ones that you shared. I'm looking at ones that you wrote.
Oh, when I actually go after certain people and calling out the TGA for being industry funded. Wonder why.
Well, they are
because
funded.
Yeah, I know. That was a very interesting part that I knew about it, but I wasn't willing to go down that rabbit hole with a few people because they've always said that the government says this, that, and everything else.
So I have to ask a question, Paul. How many years ago did you take this picture?
5.
You've had a hard 5 years, my friend.
How so?
You look so much. You look 20 years younger in this picture than you do now.
Yeah, well, sort of.
Sort of. So, who were you tweeting at that?
This was about the climate change summit that he was meant to go to, our Prime Minister. Right? Mm-hmm. He steps back from Kyoto credits. He was meant to do a talk at the international summit, the G26, on climate change. I go after the Prime Minister here quite a lot because he's a dickhead. Right? He has no idea. Photo opportunities, Scotty from Photo Ops. Next job for you is to step down. Him and Hunt and the rest of them, they're all marketing people. They've got no other qualifications. Elon Musk.
I'm unclicking off of Joe Rogan. You periodically we get these people posting on social media. Oh, well, we need to get this particular post was we need to get Grim Green on Joe Rogan. And I'm like,
not much
why?
hope in that happening.
Well, I mean, why? Because Joe has already been anti-vaping. He's made multiple anti-vaping shows or comments on different shows. Adam Curry, who used to be on Headbangers Ball, he's was an MTV VJ, and he was one of the first podcasters. He's like they call him the Podfather because he literally went to Apple and brought them the code. Like he's a coder, like he's a computer geek, and invented the whole idea of podcasting.
Right.
And he vapes. Like he quit smoking with vapor technology, and he was on Rogan's show, and the topic of vaping came up, and Rogan's like, "Oh no, dude, that's not safe. The science is still out on that. You shouldn't do that." And obviously when the youth vaping epidemic was at its worst, and a few people were vaping illicit THC products and getting sick, Rogan made a bunch of anti-vaping comments then. So yeah, I think he's a shit human being, because I see all the time comments about like what he believes in, and like if you ever listen to one of his shows, he tries to tell whoever his guest is, whatever topic they're there to talk about, regardless of whether the guest is an expert in that or not, Rogan acts like he knows more about the topic than the person that's the expert on that topic. Then everything that he talks about somehow will revert back to UFC fighting, psilocybin, marijuana, or eating exotic meat. Like he will always figure out a way to mention that during the show.
Right.
And then obviously he's a dyed-in-the-wool liberal, yet he just moved to Texas the day before. Like he officially moved to Texas and started a corporation the day before he signed a $30 million contract with Spotify, just so that he could get out of the California taxes. So if he really cared about his fellow human beings in California, he wouldn't have done it the way he did it, where he wouldn't be responsible for helping those people with his money. Lots of liberals really want to help people until it comes out of their wallet. And that's what he did, was he ran away from his California tax burden with this $35 million Spotify contract. So yeah, he's a trash human being as far as I'm concerned. He doesn't stand up for what he supposedly stands up for. You know, if you're gonna espouse a certain philosophy, then you should walk the walk as well as talk the talk.
Correct.
So yeah, I don't feel like a celebrity spokesperson for vaping is going to do a damn thing in Washington, D.C.
No, either do I. And this is, look, there's a few people, even though there's celebrities, I'd like to talk to them about vaping and their journey. And I'm not talking superstar, like movie star type people. I'm actually talking about there's one gentleman I would love to try and get on this show to talk about his journey, and that's Dave Navarro.
He's made comments and interviews about vaping. Tom Hardy.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
and I've seen he's in interviews and he's holding it in his hand while he's talking. So, he doesn't vape during the interview, but you can see he has it. It's in his hand. It's there. But I literally, Leonardo DiCaprio, I think he's probably no longer a nicotine vapor and he's probably a marijuana vapor, but He initially vaped, but they're not gonna put the time, the effort, and the energy into standing up for vaping that a regular guy like Bard has done, or Mark's List in the chat room, or any of these people that are literally giving up their Friday night to come in here and chat about vaping are willing to put way more effort into it than any Hollywood actor would.
Correct.
And it's not politically convenient for them, because most of them do fall on the liberal spectrum, and them standing up with Republicans who have by and large been more supportive of vaping than the Democrats. I mean, I don't want to make it a Republican versus Democrat thing, but most of the politicians that support vaping, are Republicans, and they are also anti-environment. So your environmental Hollywood actor is not going to sign on to support legislation that asshole that just destroyed the environment, they're just not, it's not convenient for them. And when we've spoken, we actually spoke to Johnny Depp's representation about 5 years ago. And they were like, there's no way in hell that we're not doing this. There was one rap star who was interested, but he wanted a check. He wanted a check.
No comment.
So,
things like that happen.
We're not going to get through management. Representation is not going to even deign to even approach Johnny Depp or any of these guys. Now, you brought up Dave Navarro. Well, Dave Navarro is no longer what Dave Navarro used to be, so we might be able to get him.
Yeah, correct.
He's not in Red Hot Chili Peppers anymore, and he's not in Jane's Addiction anymore. No. He's on TV doing a tattoo show now, so we might be able to get him now. Maybe.
I'd love to speak to him, because
I want to talk to him about Jane's Addiction. I don't really want to talk to him about
What? So now we're going to do a music show as well. Yeah, all right.
If we get Dave Navarro to come on, we're going to talk about guitar. We're going to talk about Nothing Shocking. We're going to talk about I've Been Caught Stealing. We're not going to be talking about vaping, because he can't tell me anything about vaping that I don't know.
Bard's also on music,
except for his personal story.
Bard's also a music buff as well.
I know. I think he's a musician. I can't tell if he's frozen or if he's just staring at the screen.
I was frozen.
So, Bard, you're a musician, right? You play music?
Yeah, I do. I play the guitar.
Or are you just a fan? Yeah, see, he's a guitar. I saw pictures on Facebook. He's got that long hair, so he must be a hard rock guy.
I used to live in California. I played in California in 1997.
You're a youngster still, Bard.
Yeah, I'm only.
Yeah, he cut out there. I didn't hear how old he was.
Bugger.
There's Norwegians. They gotta up their internet game.
Yeah, definitely. Up north.
Yeah. So how far north are you? Can you see the northern lights?
Actually, right now I'm south, but teens.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah, you're hit or miss. Bard, we're only getting like every fifth word.
Did I fall out?
Yeah, you're falling in and out. So we're not getting like half of the words that you're saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I saw the Northern Lights in August. I mean
Oh.
the Midnight Sun.
Yeah.
Work.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Mark's List says in the chat room, it's not positive enough image for them. Nobody gives a shit about smokers except vapors. We are literally the only people that care about smokers. That's not true. That is exactly true. So yeah, I mean, it is sad that everybody sort of has given up on trying to save smokers. Because if the pharmaceutical companies gave a damn about the smokers, they would have created new products. You know, the patch, the gum, the lozenges, the sprays, all those things are old technology that have been around for over 30 years. There's been no innovation in those products.
But here's the really interesting part. They're now looking at synthetic nicotine, which in part they would have had some of the technology, but it was the vape space that actually gave them or did all the research and did all the fundamental groundwork to bring it forward to market.
But they're really the only people that can afford to do it in mass.
Yeah, I understand that. And that was the conversation that was had on Twitter the other day. The conversation was, why is pharma still playing with pharmaceutical grade nicotine when they could create a synthetic version of it? And I said, because they let this industry go forward and do all the groundwork for them, so they didn't have to pay all the money. Simple as that.
I mean, we literally developed synthetic nicotine.
True.
And it's so expensive, though, we can't make it in mass. But they can make it in mass.
Well, it can be. It actually can be made in mass now.
Well, no, I'm not saying that it can't be, but it's still cost ineffective.
It isn't. It isn't. If you look at manufacturing costs now these days, no, it's not. It's come down to a point where it might be 5 or 10 cents or up to 50 cents a bottle, right, of liquid. You go back 3 years, it would have been $3 to $4 a bottle, which was inhibitive. Now, when you get the cost down to 50 cents, no, it's not inhibitive, not at all.
So I do want to address something really quick in the chat room. So Addy, that statement about the hail being coming via Bloomberg funding is not accurate. It is not accurate. The hail is coming from a tech company that is heavily invested by a group called The Village. Now, Bloomberg is a member of The Village, but so is Zuckerberg. So is the head of Google. So is the head of Twitter, the head of all these social media companies. Every one of them is part of The Village, as well as about 30 other multi-billionaire investors. Now, the funny thing is, yes, The Village is going to seek. They're going to get some sort of financial gain off of that product, but Zuckerberg won't let you advertise nicotine products on his social media platform. Twitter won't let you advertise or promote vaping products on their platform. All of these people have stepped outside of the norm by investing into this nicotine product and prevented other people from using their platforms to promote their alternative nicotine products. So don't just blame Bloomberg. I mean, of course, blame him, but don't just pin the blame on him. You got to pin the blame on Mark Zuckerberg. You got to put the blame on Jeff Bezos. You got to put the blame on all the other billionaire members of the Village, because it wasn't Bloomberg Philanthropies or Bloomberg himself that wrote the check. It was the Village, and I invite you to go and look at who the members of the Village are. I think even Bob Iger, the head of Disney, is one of the investors on the Village, and you can't vape in any Disney parks.
Murdoch's in there as well. He's another one.
He's an asshat.
Oh.
So yeah, I like to blame Bloomberg for stuff, but let's be completely and totally fair. He's not the only billionaire asshat. There are quite a few billionaire asshats, and yet Bill and Melinda Gates are indeed members of the Village. Addy, you are correct.
They're actually platinum. There's the 5 that are platinum from memory is Bloomberg, Gates, Murdoch. Who's the guy that owns what's it called?
I have no idea.
Oh,
what's it called?
I keep forgetting. Where you keep getting stuff delivered.
Amazon?
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, the richest man on the planet.
Yeah, well, that's 4 of the top 5.
Yeah,
and the fifth one's Zuckerberg.
Yeah, so yeah, all of these guys,
they're the top 5. They're the top 5, and they're all platinum,
and they're all dickheads.
Fucking dickhead's a lame ass word for those cocksuckers.
I'm not anti-billionaire, by the way, because if I was a billionaire, I would be happy. But these particular billionaires are asshats, though.
I still would not be happy. That's the thing.
Oh, I could buy happiness. Yeah.
No.
Why wouldn't you be happy with $1 billion? What would make you happy if $1 billion doesn't get you what it is that would make you happy? If you had $1 billion, Paul, you could spend half of that money investing in politicians and make yourself happy. You could make vaping completely legal in your country for $500 million.
Well, yeah, that too. Mark, yeah, there is a list. YMCA.
Yeah, I've showed it. Mark, where have you been? We've showed it on this show, like 4 of the last 5 shows.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Village Investment Group.
Yeah, I've got it right now. I've got it up here on my screen. I'll show it again, Mark. I'll show it again. So,
it's like the who's who.
So look, there's Diane Green. She's a software developer. Then you've got Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn, Facebook, the founder of Spanx. Then we've got the president of Fidelity Investments, the chairman of Google. There's Bezos, Bob Iger. See, I knew that the Disney guy was there. 23andMe, Jerry Yang. He's the former CEO of Yahoo. All these guys. Magic Johnson is in here. Where's Magic Johnson? Look at that.
There he is.
So yeah, I mean, this is the group right here, and Bloomberg is also a member Michael Dell, the founder of Dell Technologies, Zoom, LinkedIn. Yeah. All these fellas, all these asshats are part of the village.
It keeps getting bigger.
Yeah,
that's the problem with it.
So, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All of these guys, or a good portion of these guys, are all anti-vaping or don't let vaping. Or, obviously, we've talked about Facebook has threatened to not block all vaping content on Facebook many times. But yet they just invested in a vaping company in the last year and a half or so.
But the really interesting part is with Facebook, right? They want to try and curb vaping. So be it. Majority of the groups that I'm part of, especially like the industry groups, they're now private or hidden, or they're secret, where you actually need to get invites to become part of said group.
Yeah.
Yet here's the kicker. I still see advertising for vaping coming through. So Facebook's actually still taking money for the advertising from the vape.
Only
groups.
internationally. American brands cannot promote a vaping post or advertise on Facebook domestically.
Right.
So CASA, for example, can't boost a vaping advocacy post that doesn't promote a product.
Right.
But if you're in the UK and you want to boost an ad, they can in the UK, but we can't here.
Mark, we have been naming and shaming people left, right, and center on this show and many other shows that we speak on.
Yeah, nobody listens.
It does not matter. We need, and I've said this time and time again, we need an international vaping type setup where we have a law firm that can fly internationally anywhere we need them at the drop of a hat to go and deal with issues. That's for a start. Second, we need an international or a global voice that's all put together, like a superpower of international vapors and advocates, for that matter. That's what we need, bottom line. Because
and I've offered INNCO, which is the International Consumer Vape Advocacy Coalition. It's the clearinghouse for all of the international advocacy organizations to communicate with each other. I talked to Samrat about making INNCO a space here on Smoke Free Radio. I have offered to host international vape advocate content here on Smoke Free Radio. Any advocate anywhere in the world that wants to do a show, we will set it up so that they can stream their show, and we will distribute their show on all of our platforms.
Yeah. See, Mark, you've got it right there. The science and the chemistry needs to be there with it.
I said a month ago on this show, instead of having a bunch of black t-shirt, neckbeard, flat build cap guys going to hearings, we should be having Dr. Farsalinos. We should be having Clive. We should be having Alex Wodek. We should be having Eliana. We should be having all of these people represent vaping at hearings with science.
Yeah, real science.
If that costs money to pay for fucking plane tickets and hotel rooms to get them to fly here or to fly there or whatever, those are the people that we really need to be having at the center of legislation of, these hearings. We need to have Eliana go up and talk about what nicotine does in the human body. We should be having Dr. Farsalinos come on and talk about cardiac response to nicotine and vaping and what the difference is to smoking, because he's a cardiologist. We should be having, Alex Wodek go in there and talk about smoking.
Harm reduction.
And harm reduction. Dr. Colin Mendelsohn talking about harm reduction and doing clinical, he writes prescriptions for people. He listens to smokers and writes prescriptions for people to have nicotine. So those are the people that we need to be having at these hearings that can bring science. Because as much as I love my quit story, as much as I love Paul's quit story or Bard's quit story or anybody in this chat room's quit stories or anybody that's in the business of vaping going up and talking about their business, but really the scientists and the doctors need to be the ones going up there and pointing at the whiteboard and saying, this is a nicotine molecule. This is what it does in the human body. This is how nicotine improves your mental focus and your capacity for stress relief. This is, those are the people that we need to be fucking having at the hearings. And, Eliana was not given, was not invited to speak in the Australian tobacco harm reduction thing. But, she's from New Zealand. So I will give them the benefit of the doubt. However, the first night of the hearing, they had 3 different scientists from New Zealand come on and talk about vaping. So why not have the fucking chemist and the pharmacist come in and talk about how their proposed prescription model would work in the real world? So
my dream for 2021 would be to see a dream team of 10 chemists, scientists, and people that know exactly what the hell is going on. I would love to see a dream team be able to fly anywhere in the world and go up to any hearing and give the truth, the facts, the science, the chemistry. And if people don't start listening to that, then we got problems. Bottom line. It's if we had a dream team of both lawyers and chemists and scientists to fly anywhere in the world and front up to a hearing and then watch the jaws drop of these uneducated government fucking dickheads that have no understanding of why we're here, why we're in this space, how we got to this space, all of it. If we got that to happen, Jesus fucking Christ. That would be so destructive. And I'm going to put this out there, and you're going to hate me for saying this, Patrick.
Well, I already hate you anyway, so.
Right, fine. I'll put this out there. I don't give a flying fuck if people have got funding from a smoke-free world, right? Derek Yak is trying to do something a little bit different. I don't care that the money's come from the tobacco companies. That is a huge fund. There is a huge war. There's a war chest there that we need to get.
Specifically, though, there is language in their articles of incorporation that prevent any meddling by the tobacco companies.
Thank you.
So, I've never criticized Smoke-Free World.
No,
I have quite a few friends. I have quite a few friends that have worked for them or work for them or got funding from them. Dr. Glover gets funding from them.
Correct.
Charles Gardner used to work for them. Derek Yak, correct. I follow him on Facebook or on Twitter. These are all public health warriors. Why not try to get some sort of benefit out of the fucking, poison money? Why not try to make something positive from that?
I would love a discussion on here with Derek Yak, right? An open, an open discussion with Derek Yak, because what he said at some of these summits that I've been sitting in on was just absolutely mind-blowing. The way that they've twisted 5.3 in the FCTC. That was just fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah. You know, we like I said a while ago, we need guys like Ray Nyora and Ethan Nadelman and Dr. Paul Newhouse that are not vaping guys, that are fucking nicotine guys, that
Chemists.
are harm reduction guys, that are chemists, biochemists, that are experts. Those are the people we need to be having, because they have the right idea in their head about what nicotine is, what nicotine does, what harm reduction is, and why it's important. Those are the guys that need to be going and fighting for this industry, or at least fighting for the people that use these products, because they're not fighting for the industry. They're fighting for the people that use nicotine, the people that use vaping or snooze or any of the other nicotine products, the people that just don't want to smoke anymore.
We need a dream team. We need a dream team.
Yeah, we need a war chest. You know, Tom.
Yes, we do.
Tom, go down and start collecting money from everybody. Tom's going to pass the hat around to start building this war chest. You know, it was Tom's idea. Time for a war chest, bro. So, yeah, Tom's responsible for raising the money now. He's our money guy. Paul and I can think of ideas. We're idea guys. We're not money guys. I can't sell shit. You know, when it comes time to get our sponsors to pay for our streaming bills, I actually have to go and like beg people. It's really funny though. I'm gonna toot the horn of the show, of the network, and say, you know, look at the quality of content that we've provided for people. You know, look at all the guests that we've had on. Look at the interviews that we've had. Some of our shows are a little bit crunchier than others, and that's okay. But we've had all of the best minds in vaping. Well, not all of them, because we're having more. But we've brought some amazing content. And it's sad sometimes when I look at the Facebook numbers and I look at the YouTube numbers, because the YouTube, that's partially my fault, because we never really promoted YouTube at all. So yeah, we have about 80 followers on YouTube. Twitter, on the other hand, we get as many as 500 or 600 people watching on Twitter. We get another 12, maybe 1,200 to 2,000 views on Facebook. The podcasts, we can get as many as 5,000 or 6,000 downloads of the audio podcast, which makes me happy because I like audio podcasts. But, you know, when it comes time to pay for this shit, either I pay for it or I go beg for one company. We have one sponsor. And I haven't even mentioned Demand Vape on the show in months. And I feel kind of bad, but they have a banner on our Facebook, and that's what they get for the, I think they gave us $1,600 to pay for all of our hosting fees. That's how much it costs to keep this thing going. $1,600. You know, and then, you know, I messaged like 20 or 30 different companies last year. Only one company responded. So yeah, apparently there's no value in the show, Paul. I'm not asking for any money for myself. I just need to pay for the fucking hosting fees.
Yeah,
that costs money. So
like,
yeah.
someone actually asked me the other day, right? And I was really offended. Someone asked me if I actually get paid to come on and talk to everyone, and I just went, "Get fucked." Me get paid, turn it up.
Yeah. You know, we don't
really.
We're not asking. You know, I really considered starting a GoFundMe or something to buy to buy Kevin the real Kevin, not the substitute Kevin, a microphone. Like literally, it costs about $100 for a microphone. I was gonna start a GoFundMe to buy Kevin a new microphone so that he sounds better.
It's all cool.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, Bud, we have a lot of fun on this show. Seriously, we do. Some of the people that we call out.
We got Aaron Biebert drunk on the show last week.
Oh man, I'm on.
I mean,
I'm with you next time.
I mean, we got Chugga. We had Chugga drunk on the show. We got her so drunk she drank an entire two bottles of wine on the show.
She lost her bottle of wine too, by the way.
She couldn't find it. She drank it all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's the whole idea of this show. You know, we get through the hard. We get through the hard questions. We get through the hard questions, and then we have a bit of fun.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, man.
Yeah, Aaron got
toasty.
Aaron got to the point last week where he's like, "Did I say anything I shouldn't have said?" Oh, don't use that soundbite. Like, you know, I said during the show, "Ooh, I'm going to soundbite that." He's like, "Oh no, don't do that." You know, Fig and I would get drunk regularly on the show.
Yep.
And it got to the point where it was expected that one of us was going to fall out of our chair. We haven't done that in a long time.
No one did that.
No one ever fell, but I think there were people taking bets. And which one of us would get so angry drunk that we would just say something that we could never take back on the show. We never got that point either. But we had a couple shows where all of our filters fell off, and we would say stuff, and then we were like, "Oh, you know what? That we were quite angry on that show, and we said this. Oh, we better not promote that show. Like, we didn't delete the show. The show still exists, but we just didn't share it everywhere like we do afterwards. So,
yeah,
you know, because we're not going to delete what we said. We just won't tell everybody where it's at. So
we've gotten a little bit better, Bard.
If you want to find out, you actually have to go to Spreaker and listen to all of the recordings to find the stuff where we said bad thing.
We've called a lot of people a lot of different names.
Oh yes, we've insulted people. We've called them on their lies. We've drug bad actors in the vaping world into the light. In America here, we had a politician who was known as the vaping congressman. And he was a crook and a criminal and a slime ball. And I drug all of his sins out into the light to show everybody that he was a crooked criminal and a slime ball. And somebody actually reached out to Demetrius. This is when Demetrius owned the network, and was like, "Hey, you need to put a muzzle on that guy because he's saying bad things about the only politician that's pro vaping in DC." And I'm like, I don't give a shit if he's pro vaping. He's a fucking piece of shit. And he was convicted, and he threw his own wife under the bus so that she would serve more jail time than him. So you tell me that this guy deserved our respect. He did not. And the guy that actually was defending him was a piece of shit too. So and I drug his ass too. I brought, I'll say his name. I drug Greg Troutman through the fucking mud because he's a liar and a piece of shit. So, and he's a misogynist and a racist and a fucking criminal. So, yeah. Hey, Ed West is finally here.
Uncle Ed.
Ed West says, "Hey, Bard."
Ed West?
Yes, he's on Twitter.
Hey, Ed. Yeah. Oh, man. I like Ed.
Ed West is like a 90-year-old grouchy old man.
And we need those.
Every time I see him, that's the mental image that I have is a 90-year-old guy drinking cheap wine and cursing at the world. That's the picture I have of Ed West.
You guys.
No, Hamish, the flavor art guy was not doing the dodge. People in the community who choose to only see what is laying parts of the stories, they like to fabricate shit. He was not doing what they said he was doing. It was a bunch of bullshit. The flavor art guy is not a fucking crook.
Fucking hell, Victor, where have you been?
Victor, you missed all of Hamish or all of Bard's bad audio problems. He's so much better now, but you missed all the fun stuff. So
don't worry, you're in the firing line next, Hamish.
You'll have to listen to the replay.
Hamish is going to get an invite to the show as well.
Well, I already have Clive lined up. I'm working on setting, getting Norbert on from Germany. So that might also be a weird time situation because Germany's also in. Bard was the only one that would come on at 4 a.m. Is it 4 a.m. still, or is it 5 a.m.? Is the sun up yet, Bard?
It's now it's 6:30.
But Bard's going to see the sun come up because we made Bard get up at like 3 a.m. to come on the show.
Yeah.
So that's how mean we are. We didn't even try to schedule a new time for him.
We don't normally do stupid shit to people, or do we?
The sun doesn't come up here, man.
That's true. I said that a while ago. Yeah, Ed says I'm old, but that's taking it a bit far. Expensive wine only
on Fridays.
Friday.
Only on Fridays, Ed? I don't believe you.
Payday. On payday, you can only afford expensive wine on payday.
Right. All right. Point taken. But yeah, Hamish, you've got an invite to the show.
We'll have to figure out a day for Hamish, and Hamish has to.
He's in Australia.
Oh, I'm drawing the line. There's no more fucking Australians allowed on the show. Only Kiwis from now on.
Really? Yeah. Tom, you're in the firing line then.
Fucking Australians.
Yeah, Tom. Nancy Lucas is another one that needs to come on the show.
Yeah, no, Nancy Lucas is already happening. Nancy Lucas is already.
Hamish is up your ass.
He says, "Fuck you too, Patrick." Here, I'll even put that on. I'll put that on screen so that everybody can see it.
Yep.
For sure. Damn Australians.
Cheers.
Bunch of
what
criminals.
are you drinking now? He's got a beer at 5 a.m. I like this boy. Oh!
Yeah, well, you guys said I could.
Oh, son of a bitch. That's the real stuff. That's the real Bex.
You guys said I could.
You have permission.
The real Beck.
Oh, I miss that stuff so bad.
That's not even the American one. The American one.
No, that's
like water.
That's the
like
real stuff.
I know.
That's the real stuff. Oh, I miss that so much. Yeah, Bremen. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how much I miss that
help
beer?
Myself.
I love that stuff.
That beer?
Yeah, you do?
Oh, I love Bex.
Beck. Best.
No, he's an Amstel guy. Or Heineken.
Oh, Heineken's good too.
Well,
Heineken, yeah.
If you're there, it's good. Not here.
Yeah. No, if you're in Holland, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you made me drool. Yeah.
I'm a Duvel guy. I like my Duvel.
Duvel's good too.
But here in the States, a 4-pack of Duvel costs like $22.
Yeah. And
for 4 beers. So that's a bit pricey.
That's cheap.
But yeah, Beck's here in Australia. What is it now? For 24 imported, it's like $75 to $80 Australian.
But what is that, like $5 US?
Off.
Well, no, like a case of regular beer here in the States costs about $20. You know, if you're going to get Budweiser or, you know, any of the American brands, it's relatively not that bad. But to buy 4 beers that cost $22, yeah, that's pretty bad.
I'll pay $20 for 4 beers, but they'll be gone within the hour.
That's not even enough to give me a buzz. If I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go buy bourbon. Zitho.
More for the money.
Tropical haze, bitches. Yep.
Is that like a fruity beer?
Oh, yeah. I'm fruity as well, so shut up.
You're going to have to fucking give up your man card.
Yeah, well, I've always been fruity. Everyone knows that I'm fruity.
That goes right against man code. Like, you know, do not fruit the beer.
Tom.
So, yeah, a 12-pack of Stella costs about $22.
Yeah,
now,
I don't.
If you're in Belgium,
Yeah.
Stella's a damn good beer.
Hell yeah.
And if you're here in the States, it's an okay beer. You know, I have Stella in the refrigerator because that's about as far down the pole. That's the bar. I won't go below that line of quality. I'm an asshole when it comes to booze, so I only want good stuff.
Yeah, all right. What about gin? Do you drink gin, Patrick?
No, I don't drink gin. No.
What about you, Bud?
Only beer and whiskey, man.
Oh, another one. Man after your heart.
So, hey, Bard, are you aware of a company called Five Ponds? Here, I'll show you something. So this is whiskey distilled by one of the founders of Five Ponds, R.J. Jerebeck.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, they have. He has a. I think 6 different whiskeys that he's making now. He has a rye, a smoky whiskey, a bourbon. This is the Smoky Joe. This is a smoky whiskey. Ooh. And they even come in like 5 Ponds light cans.
Yeah.
RJ.
Nice.
Yeah, Jay is legit. I know, 100%. Hang on a second, Hamish. You're saying that your THR submission has gone missing.
Mine still hasn't showed up yet.
Fuck. Here we go.
That's why I didn't get invited. I submitted 15 pages of science and words, and I haven't gotten mine. Mine hasn't showed up yet either.
Oh, Mark, you want to talk about single malts? I didn't get that back yet, but I've got a couple of bottles of 50-year-old Lagavulin that I didn't get back. Yeah, I like good single malts, but I have to be peaty. I have to. I have to have that.
I like my scotches aged in sherry bottle or sherry casks. So Glenmorangie or something like that. But yeah, I don't like swampy whiskey.
Send me the edit, please.
Oh, I was like, "What are you talking? You're talking to Hamish about his submission."
Yeah, no. I named my daughter after Talisker. Oh shit, that's a big call, dude.
So for some reason, I always thought that Mike would be like a Captain Morgan's rum sort of guy, or something like that, or Southern Comfort.
Oh, holy shit!
Oh,
middle name is Sky.
Southern Comfort is good.
Oh God, no. No, Bud, no, 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 no. Please, no. Show him a really good bottle of whiskey.
This is an okay bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, Suntory. Yeah, Toki. Yeah.
This is an okay bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Chapin, what? Hamish, fuck off. Johnny Walker's garbage.
This is a pretty okay bottle of whiskey.
Oh yeah, Whistle Pig. Yeah, that's only 10 year though.
Yeah, it still costs about $100.
Yeah.
Here.
Keep going.
Oh well.
Yeah. Here we go.
Here, I'll bring out the Angel's Envy. I need another bottle of this. If we're going to start doing fundraising, I need another bottle of this.
Yep. We all need a bottle of that for the show.
Well, here, Paul, I'll bring out this one.
Oh, again? You fucking shit stirring prick.
No, that's Japanese sake.
Yeah, I know. You brought that out before, you shit stirring prick. Glenfiddich, the early stuff.
Oh, there's a bottle of that in here too. This is a private label Irish single malt that this is $250 right here.
Nice.
We're doing the whiskey show now?
Yeah.
What the hell? Hey, where are you now, Hamish? He's on Facebook, then he's on YouTube, now he's on Periscope. What the fuck?
Well, he's like you. He's got multiple monitors that he can zip and zag. He can zip and zag.
Ass hat.
Yeah.
Hamish is everywhere.
Yeah, Johnny Walker, though, I should really smack him upside the head for the Johnny Walker comment.
Well, I said the same thing.
Ew.
There's only one that I would drink from Johnny Walker's stable, and that'd be the Platinum.
Yeah, but that's like $250 a bottle.
And?
You
know, I'm poor. I can't do that.
Dimple's good. The early Dimple was beautiful.
What's the one that has the Viking girl on that's riding the back of a polar bear? That's the mascot of some, I want to say, European whiskey brand. It's a Viking, like a Valkyrie riding like a polar bear. I have to look that up.
Huh. If you come over, you need to buy, but you need to buy a liquor called Viking Fjord.
Viking Fjord.
What is it?
Yeah, Viking Fjord. I think it's liquor like vodka, but it's like 60%. I think. So, you know, we know regions our own moonshine. You know.
Oh, where's it at?
Yeah, I like moonshine. I like moonshine as well.
One sip of moonshine and the whole night is set. Or wiped out.
No, never.
So
he's got a jar. Have you got a jar?
I'm not a fan of Jack Daniels that much, but
what have you got?
What about Chivas?
Chivas Regal.
Regal.
Oh, that's crap.
Crap.
I love
water.
Slivovitz. I love Slivovitz as well, but
yeah.
Seriously, get out of the box. This is a single barrel Jack.
Oof. Which one?
Nice.
This is single barrel Jack, and it's 127 proof. So this is
nice.
This is your 63.8% alcohol.
Now we're talking.
You gonna share that with us?
If you want your high octane, this is a very good high octane.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah.
Hello, Eliana. You had a bottle of Tullamore from 1912. Holy crap!
See that?
Oh. Yes, I have, Tom.
This is an okay bottle of bourbon.
Oh, Woodford. No.
This is an okay bottle. This is the rye.
The rye is pretty good. Yes, I have.
This is for when there's, guests that you really don't like. No, I'm just joking. This is pretty damn good rye.
Yeah. Rye's always a good whiskey.
But here, Paul, this one's for you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice. 20 quart.
Yeah.
Hello. Eliana's in the room, Patrick, and she would love to have a sip.
She can come anytime.
Bring it on.
She can come to Texas anytime she wants.
Yep. I thought you'd say that.
Yeah. I'm sure I can drag her to a hearing or two.
Oh, that would be.
So, since Eliana's in the room, we should also bring to the point that we have volunteered her to lead our scientific advisory council.
Yep.
For our new, as yet unfunded and unnamed international nonprofit that's only mission is to drag scientists to hearings all over the world.
Oh, crap.
Eliana's going to have to be the face of the organization.
Yep.
Yeah. And she says that she would completely be happy to be a part of it. So I'm going to put that on screen so that it is also saved forever. So her response is on screen. So she is now verbally contracted. So that's what we've decided. The best response to anti-science and anti-vaping assholes is to just drive science down their throats. So we're going to have to get all of the scientists at all of the hearings from now on.
She's in.
She's in. So we need to get Clive and Colin and Alex and every other, Dr. Farsalinos, and I'm sure Charlie Gardner would sign on.
We need a panel.
All the scientists.
No, we need a panel of 10. A
Ethan
panel of
Nadelman.
10.
Yeah, but we need to get so many harm reduction guys, so many actual scientists, and 1 or 2 spaces on there for, subject matter experts that are not necessarily scientists, but maybe one consumer and like one industry person, and the rest of them are all scientists. And that way I can do my activism and I don't need to be nice. They have to be nice, but I don't have to be nice. So the whole point is to make me from having to be respectable.
Well, that works. A volunteer as a cheerleader in the peanut gallery.
You're gonna be the
Liana. Shush.
The head cook and bottle washer.
Oh.
No, like I said, Glantz is a mechanical engineer. He claims that he's a rocket scientist. And I still say that rocket scientists like him are the reason why we stopped going to the moon.
Yep. I love what Eliana says, and this is one of my favorite sayings. Easy peasy.
Yep. So easy peasy, she says.
Yep.
Yeah. All we need is money. So all of the people that are in the chat room are the fundraiser.
Wow.
So y'all go out and start shaking the tree for some money. That's all we need is money. We need a treasurer because I'm not handling any money.
Neither am I.
I'm sort of allergic to money, so yeah.
That has to be tagged as well. Vaping is not rocket science.
Oh, you want me to throw that on screen so that it's saved for?
Yes.
There, and now it is on screen. It is captured in video. Eliana Rubashkyn has said, as a scientist and a chemist and a pharmacist, she has said that vaping is not rocket science, which I totally agree with. You do not have to have advanced degrees to understand that smoking cigarettes kills people, and vaping does not. It's
okay.
Very.
It seems like we're creating a company. Hamish wants to be CFO.
It is not a company. It is not a company. It is an international nonprofit. We want to be an NGO. I don't know that Kevin. I don't know that Kevin can do complex math.
CFO? So, no, he can't.
He can do really complex Twitters, but I don't know that he can do really complex math. We might actually have to hire a professional accountant,
bookkeeper,
to handle that, because I don't want anything to do with like taking people's money. I really don't. I don't like it. That's one of the reasons why we've never really monetized any of our stuff, because I just don't want to do it. I just don't. I don't want to handle money. I don't want to be obliged to anybody but John at Demand Vape, and he doesn't really give a shit what I do as long as I don't say anything that's anti-vaping, which I would never do. So, yeah, that's any sponsors that actually want to come on to Smoke Free Radio have to do it with the understanding that I'm not selling anything, and you really don't get anything out of it other than the warm, fuzzy feeling of bringing advocacy to the world, because I am not a salesperson.
Hamish, you're not getting the coffee. That job's for breeze times.
Hamish can actually get the recreational drugs. If that's what he wants to do, he can go out and get us our illicit drugs. Which in my case is coffee and nicotine. So That's really the only illicit drugs that I do. I work in a field where they drug test me anytime they want, so it's kind of hard for me to do like drugs.
Yeah, but Breestones gets the coffee job.
Why does Breestone get the coffee job? Why couldn't we get what's the guy's name? The Canadian Australian guy?
Oh, Legion.
You brought him on the show. Legion, yeah.
Legion,
didn't
yeah, it's Steve.
Wasn't he a barista or something at some point?
No, that's Breestones.
Oh, okay. But he's not here. Adam Metalman is not here, so he can't be a part of. You can't give him a position because he's not here. Only people in the chat room qualify for positions in our new NGO.
Okay.
I wonder, could we sucker Bloomberg into giving us money?
Bart, have you got a line on this? How do we do it?
Does anybody know of if there's any applications for grants from Bloomberg Philanthropies? Maybe we could sucker them into giving us money. Because then, obviously, since the Australian congressman always wants to ask where you got your money, we don't want to say smoke-free world, even though there's nothing wrong with smoke-free world money. We want to say we got our money from Bloomberg. We were smart enough to swindle him out of money. That's what we need to do.
How?
See,
how do we play?
David and Tom. No, David specifically says in the chat room that Steve was indeed a Starbucks employee.
Yeah. So was Grim.
Yes, but I just said that Steve was a barista, and you said no, it was Adam.
I thought he was management.
He worked at Starbucks.
Yeah, all right. Well,
so I was right. Again,
doesn't mean that you're barista.
Yes. Well, that's true, Jan. We could just say that we are an anti-smoking advocacy group and be very vague in our grant application. That's what we need to do. Let's swindle a couple $1 million. We don't need more than a couple $1 million. We say $10 million. Let's get a $10 million grant from Bloomberg. That would be enough to fly scientists all over the world.
No, we need 20.
Yeah.
20? Okay, 20.
Then we can get our own private jet.
That would only lease us a private jet for about 6 months.
Not at the moment. Not after COVID. They're on sale pretty cheap right now.
Then you got to pay a pilot.
But you can pick one up for about 10 to 12 million at the moment.
What, a pilot?
No, you can pick up a private jet for around 10 to 12 million.
We still got to pay the fucking scientists if we drop half of our money on a plane. We want to have these scientists happy so that they can afford to leave their current employ and fly all over the world and testify.
Get someone to get Union
of Concerned Scientists to adjudicate ours versus the ant science. I have never heard of the Union of Concerned Scientists, so I don't know anything about them. Is that a thing? Is there? Let me Google. There's a thing called Google that you can look stuff up on. I just recently found this out.
No, it is actually.
So the Union of Concerned Scientists. Let's see. Let's check their website out. Jan might have brought us a really excellent idea.
Wow.
So they are. I'm on the about now. We use science to address global problems and improve people's lives.
Hello.
The Union of Concerned Scientists is a national nonprofit organization founded more than 50 years ago by scientists and students at MIT. Our mission to use rigorous, independent science to solve our planet's most pressing problems. Joining with people across the country, we combine technical analysis and effective advocacy to create innovative, practical solutions for a healthy, safe, and sustainable future. These actually sound like these guys would be our guys. Yeah, we need to. Jan, you should write a proposal that we will take to the Union of Concerned Scientists. Did you notice what I've been doing is like assigning
networking
stuff to do?
Networking.
And instead of actually volunteering to do anything myself, I'm just, assigning people tasks. One of the good things of being a Colombian pharmacist is 1, you can enjoy the purest caffeine. 2, you can understand the harms of drugs. 3, navigate the wrongs on the drug on wars. I think it's the war on drugs. And lastly, learn that pragmatism saves lives and science shouldn't be ignored. Ignoring and tainting science has led to millions of deaths, and this is only if I speak of the war on drugs in Colombia. I'm saving that one too because that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, the war on drugs is a ridiculous multi-billion-dollar fucking money pit that the U.S. government has used as a way to control Central and South American countries for, 40 years, 30 years, something like that? Literally, this is like the new version of the Monroe Doctrine, where we went around trying to prevent communism from controlling other countries. So this is just another way of Americans trying to have an imperialism. This is just our way of having imperialism without being an empire. Like, we literally go into these countries, we pay off people, we control their governments, we destroy their lives, and we just say that we're doing this as a war on drugs. The war on drugs has not stopped a single, as far as I'm concerned, has not helped a single person in our country. Drugs are still here. They're lower quality. They're lower quality than they would have been if we'd have just left shit alone. More people are dying from bad drugs than yeah, Jan, I'm being sarcastic with the Monroe Doctrine comparison, but yes, it is our way of being an empire without actually being an empire. We want to put our thumb on them and say we're in charge, and that's what Americans do. We like to be in charge. Let's control the drug trade and make some money off of it. That's exactly what the CIA has done. I don't know what WOD is, Hamish.
World War on Drugs.
Oh, war on drugs. Yeah. It's literally just a make work. The war on drugs is a cover for the CIA to set up governments all over Central and South America. That's what that is.
Right.
Didn't help.
Corporations. Big bananas.
Bard.
He's there, but
yeah, I can't tell if he can hear us. Every once in a while he chuckles, so I know that he's hearing something. So yeah, I mean, we really we're gonna have to have Bard back on in the future. When
it's gonna have to steal government bandwidth.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out a way to siphon some internet to Norway so that he's got a faster connection. But Bard, at the end of our show, we always ask everybody to give some final thoughts. What are your final thoughts? What would you like people to know about Norway and about vaping advocacy? Interesting. Hey, Paul, since Bard can't talk, why don't you give your final thoughts?
My final thoughts for today are: we've had a bit of fun, answered a few very good questions, even though we've had stupid internet problems with Norway. And you're right, we need to revisit this episode yet again with similar questions and better questions, because I'd like to know what's going on in Europe. If TPD 3.0 is going to affect not only...
Did you guys ask me something just now?
Yeah, I was going to ask you again because you lost.
Sorry,
lost you.
Or I do.
Yeah. I just, at the end of the show, I always ask for the guests to give their final thoughts, what they want the viewers to take away from the show. We're closing in on the 3-hour mark, so that's usually where we shut everything down. So I was just, what did you want the viewers to hear about Norway and about vaping advocacy? Yeah, I think we lost him again. Yeah, so, Paul, finish your thought.
I think we need to revisit this with Bard again on a better connection. Somehow, if we can organise a better connection for him to do, even as if it's off air and we do it as a podcast.
And
that'd
I think
be great.
we'll have to do it on a special time so that it's not 3 a.m. in the morning when we start for him. For sure.
Yeah, that's fine. But even if it's just a podcast that we do, like a one-off podcast.
Yeah.
But here in Australia, the 18th, we've got the THR committee handing down what they're doing, as well as the ANU, Australian National University. So we're waiting for these reports to come out. We don't know what they're going to say, but pretty much what we've heard, it's like negative here in Australia, and they want the prescription model. There's a lot of us here in the community, like manufacturers and the community, that does not want that to go down that way. Why should we be burdened, like all the doctors, with handing out prescriptions? So 500,000 vapers every 3 months have to go to a doctor to seek a prescription. No, it's not going to work. I'm sorry. Why should we burden the medical system that's already under pressure for a very, how would I put it, minuscule reason? Enough is enough. And Greg Hunt, if you ever listen to anything that we've said here, I haven't called you the C word for once on this show. I'd like to sit down with you and like-minded people within the industry. We need to have a roundtable discussion. Enough is enough, you idiot. We've had enough. Sit down with us. We'll come to some type of decision. Let us do what we're doing and let the vaping industry here in Australia do their job. We have doctors, lawyers, pharmacists, all willing to take up the role that you're not capable of doing. Just let us do our job, please. Thank you.
Are you there, Bard? Poor Bard. So yeah, we're gonna close the show out. I just we didn't pull this off as well as we wanted to, but we're gonna have to have Bard back on, and when we do, we'll do it at a time where it's not 3 a.m. Bard's time, and we'll try to make sure that he's on a laptop instead of the phone and has a good Wi-Fi connection, because I know that Bard probably doesn't feel like he was able to get his thoughts through very well because of the internet and all this, and I know that Bard has a lot of shit to say, so we're gonna have to do another show, and yeah, we'll schedule it so that it's not 3 a.m. his time, and we're in a better situation with our audio for him. I just want everybody to realize that we have the truth is on our side. Like, we literally have science. We literally have scientists, doctors, public health people, harm reduction advocates at our disposal that I really feel like we have failed to engage. We've literally failed to bring in guys like Ethan Nadelman and all these guys that push drug policy and all this other stuff, like that's not necessarily a vaping thing, that it's just saving people's lives. That's what we need to do. We have wonderful scientists like Eliana, we have Dr. Charlie Gardner, we have all those guys, but we could do a better job at bringing in more diversity to our discussion. And I'm not talking about like diversity, which is the popular version of what people are talking about, but we need to shore up our toolbox. We need to use every tool at our disposal, and we're not doing that. We should have been having Dr. Paul Newhouse speak on our behalf and talk about nicotine. Like I said a while ago, Dr. Tyndall. We need to get people like him. He's a drug policy guy. He's a harm reduction guy. And he also understands that people should have the right to less harmful vapor products instead of smoking. So those kind of guys need to be part of our toolbox. We need to be bringing those guys into the discussion. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to reach out to these guys. I'm going to try to get Dr. Newhouse on the show. I already think that I might be able to get Dr. Tyndall on the show. He's already responded to my Twitter. We've got Clive Bates scheduled, or at least we've got him agreed to come on the show. We just got to set up a time in the day that's convenient for him in Nigeria. And we're going to reach out to other people that we haven't had on the show. We need to bring in more quality voices instead of having guys that are better served, like mixing e-liquid. Let them do that. Let the vape shop owners run their stores and save smokers, and let's bring in these experts to fight for the industry, or to fight for the technology, or the ability, the access to these products. Let's use those tools and see if we can get better results than having unprofessional people try to fight for us. We should bring in these subject matter experts to really get up there and explain to these scientists or these politicians why people should have access to nicotine. Because by and large, that's what the argument should be now. It shouldn't be about vaping. It shouldn't be about the delivery method. It should be about the substance. It should be about nicotine. Because by at the end of the day, if we can make them understand that nicotine in a cigarette kills you, not because it's nicotine, but because of the cigarette. I had a conversation this week about these reduced nicotine cigarettes that the FDA just purchased millions of dollars of low nicotine cigarettes. And they're promoting the usage of these low nicotine cigarettes. But they still have all of the tar, all of the other bad things. I actually reached out to Charlie Gardner and asked him, is there any science out there to show what's in the aerosols of these low nicotine cigarettes. And he said all the bad stuff that's in a regular cigarette is in these. So the only thing that they're reducing is nicotine, which is the least harmful component of a combustible cigarette. Does that make any sense to you? I specifically asked him, do they still have MAOIs? Yes, they do. So you have a cigarette that does all the same bad stuff that a regular cigarette does, except that it has less nicotine in it. It still has all of the chemicals that accentuate your body's attraction to nicotine. It still has the MAOIs, which make you want to smoke in the first place. So what the hell do you think a reduced nicotine cigarette is going to do? If it has all the same bad stuff in it, and it still has all of the things in it that make you addicted to nicotine, the only reason that nicotine got the addictive label is because of all the crap that's in a cigarette that makes you addicted to it. So a reduced nicotine cigarette is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. I can't believe that they left all the poison in and took the nicotine out. That is the stupidest thing I've heard of. So anyway, thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Bard. We're going to have you on again when we can get you sounding better. We're not giving up. We're not giving up. We're getting your story out there. And I appreciate everybody that came to watch the show. Like I said, not our best show, not our worst show. We're not cussing. We're not drinking. We're not falling out of our chairs. So we're going to do that later. But anyway, love you guys. Have a good weekend. When we get done here, do what I tell you every weekend. Go find your kids and give them a hug. Go find your wife and plant a big wet one on her. Go to sleep. Wake up to have an enjoyable, fun weekend. Because Monday, when we come back, all this shit is still going to be here, and all the war is still going to have to be fought. So be good. Love you. See you guys later. Have a good one.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
We're exporting a whole lot of really bad and dangerous rhetoric, bad research, and unfortunately it's being picked up and amplified in other countries.
Never forget the elephant in the room. It's actually such a big elephant that I don't think people can even breathe in that room. It's such a huge elephant. It's the number one preventable cause of death in Australia. So when you are taking a precautionary approach, when you're like, no, we just don't know enough, I just tell them to shut up, because that just I don't know is killing people right now.
Look what they're trying to do. All the delicious flavors of e-cigarettes are poison.
They're not people giving up smoking. They're not people that ever smoked before. Most people that vape never smoked before. Just think if your kid was doing this and winds up with an IQ 10 or 15 points lower than he or she would have had for the rest of her life.
Most people who vape are current or former smokers. For the addicted adult smoker who switches, there's going to likely be a reduction in risk.
There's a tremendous push to bring about prohibition, to actually prohibit vaping. Whereas the evidence strongly suggests that actually, up to now, the most successful way of people stopping smoking cigarettes is vaping.
Yeah. When vaping increases, smoking decreases.
That's right.
When vaping is restricted, smoking increases.
We're worried that, in fact, a lot of members of the public still think that using an e-cigarette is as harmful as smoking a cigarette. I mean, I have said that it would be tragic if smokers didn't quit and carried on smoking because they hadn't tried an e-cigarette, because they were worried about the safety of an e-cigarette.
The most disheartening thing is still the anti-choice rhetoric, the desire to enforce this quit or die mentality and refuse to allow individuals to reduce their risk unless they're willing to give up everything.
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain